Coming up, Bump the Mumps, a program on campus today, was working to make sure that nobody else gets the disease. Did you take the pledge? Even if you didn't, find out how you can avoid the mumps.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but no blast off. Why is a NASA satellite's launch being delayed? And when will it happen? We'll tell you.
And Thanksgiving is coming up, but we're already looking ahead to Black Friday. This year could be even crazier as people fight to get those deals. We'll tell you why and a whole lot more right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
The Marty Glickman Award for Leadership in Sports Media is being awarded today, and Newhouse students have a chance to see the famous name who's getting it. Good evening, I'm Federico.
And I'm Elissa Candiotti. The event is open to the campus community. Several alums dropped by to congratulate the winner.
The winner of the Marty Glickman Award is NBC sportscaster and Newhouse alumna Mike Tirico, who received the award from last year's winner and fellow alum Sean McDonough. Citrus TV reporter Zachary Levine is on the scene with more.
Well, right here at the Herg at Newhouse, Mike Tirico spoke for the second time this year, and it was an event that he won the Marty Glickman Award for Leadership in Sports Media. Now, today's event kicked off at 4 p.m. with a reception, and the award presentation just finished up. Last year, Tirico's former colleague, Monday Night Football announcer Sean McDonough, won the award, which is named for a 1939 alumnus of the university and a sports broadcast pioneer. Now, when Tirico was last here, he spoke about his new job as Olympic primetime host on NBC, but the crowd was still focused on John Gillen's buzzer beater against Duke the night before. Unfortunately, SU didn't have any big upsets this week for Tirico to celebrate, but he is headed to the game tonight. Speakers included Newhouse Dean Lorian Branham, SU Athletic Director John Wildak, and Sean McDonough. Bob Costas was also here to honor his colleague. Earlier today, I got a chance to catch up with the broadcast legend.
It means a lot for a variety of reasons, mostly because of the people who've won it before and the people who've been honored. They're the people who have been inspirational and impactful to me and to our school. And to be a New Yorker and receive an award that goes back to someone who has great roots in New York, and Marty Glickman, not just as an announcer, but as somebody who impacted a lot of careers as well during his time after he got done broadcasting at NBC. So for a lot of reasons, it means a lot to me.
Well, it won't be long before more broadcast royalty is here at Newhouse, as tomorrow night Bob Costas speaks at the Hergendown Auditorium at 6:30. Reporting live from Newhouse, Zachary Levine, Citrus TV News.
Thank you, Zach. Time to bump the mumps. Today on the quad, students were asked to take the pledge to practice good hygiene to help prevent the mumps. At the event, student health peers were there to hand out hot chocolate and answer questions about the mumps. In addition, they were giving out t-shirts, stickers, and plastic cups, all to raise awareness to Bump the Mumps from campus.
But it isn't all good news for mumps victims. The current outbreak has raised concerns about the vaccine, as all confirmed cases have been properly vaccinated. Research from the Merck lab, where the vaccine was tested, shows that its efficiency rate is lower than the 95% that has been advertised for over a decade. Students are still encouraged to receive the booster to help prevent the virus. Following the recent wave of Democratic victories last week, the party's future is being discussed across America. And today, a Democratic campaign advisor brought that discussion to SU students. Matt Bennett, a former Clinton campaign advisor, spoke to students at Eggers Hall. Bennett has previously appeared in the New York Times and on Meet the Press. The event was sponsored by the Campbell Public Affairs Institute. Over the weekend, University Union hosted this semester's Bandersnatch concert series. Citrus TV News reporter Jenna Babyak is here to tell us why hundreds of SU students came to the performance.
Electronic dance music, or more commonly known as EDM, has recently become a very popular style of music. I spoke with one of the Bandersnatch artists about why EDM has become so big, especially with college students.
The shows are super fun. The music itself is great for parties. It's just really easy to dance to.
Electronic dance music is sweeping the college music scene, but EDM isn't just for the young listener.
I'll go to festivals and I'll see like old people. I've seen like really old people at like a festival, like at some like dubstep show. I'm like, awesome, cool. Like anyone can get down to it.
University Union's Bandersnatch concert series this past weekend featured artists from other genres too. Concert opener Kari is a rap artist. And Saturday's headliner Muramasa considers his music to fall in the electro-pop genre. Many EDM artists use their music as a form of expression and hope their fans can have a connection with it.
I want to be able to make music that I love and that other people can relate to and enjoy.
More and more young artists are trading traditional musical instruments for laptops. They can completely produce their music on a computer.
Many popular artists who aren't typically associated with EDM have recently been collaborating with big DJs. According to Billboard, the #1 EDM song on the charts right now is actually a Coldplay song, where the alternative rock band collaborates with the popular EDM group The Chainsmokers.
Thank you very much, Jenna. The Taste of Africa hit Syracuse. A new family-operated Congolese restaurant has opened and serves a variety of foods found in the Central and East Africa. The owner came to Syracuse in 2005, and it has been his dream to open an African restaurant. The Taste of Africa can be found at 820 Danforth Street in North Syracuse.
We had a high of 40 degrees in Syracuse today, but that felt warm compared to the past few days.
Yeah, for sure. Our favorite weather anchor, Josh Feinblatt, is here to fill us in on what we can expect for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, guys, a 7 p.m. tip-off tonight for the game. Drew Carter has got more on the game on sports later in the show. But just like the ice in Tyus Battle's veins, it is going to be ice cold tonight going to the game. 36 degrees. It's not going to rain, so you don't need a rain jacket, but 34 at that 7 p.m. tip-off. Sorry. And later tonight, that's not going to be 56 degrees. That's an accident. It's actually going to be at around 32 degrees later tonight after the game. There's no chance of rain, and it will dip into the low 30s, high 20s, and I've got more coming up later in the show.
Thank you, Josh. Coming up, President Trump is on his way home from Asia. What did he do on the last leg of his trip?
And tanks are in the capital of an African nation. Why are many people expecting a coup? Find out after the break.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
You're watching Citrus TV News with Elissa Candiotti, Connor Federico, and Josh Feinblatt with weather. Citrus TV News continues now.
A gunman in Northern California killed at least 4 people and injured many others during a shooting spree that spanned 7 locations today.
The gunman was shot by police and was the 5th fatality. The shooting was reported by an elementary school in Tehama County. The attacker's name is currently unknown.
The launch of a NASA weather satellite is delayed by at least 24 hours. The Joint Polar Satellite System 1 was set to blast off shortly before 5 a.m. this morning from the Vandenberg Air Force Base in California.
The launch was scrapped due to bad instrument readings and boats in the launch safety zone. The next attempt is scheduled for early tomorrow morning.
The Department of Justice is considering appointing a second special counsel. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is asking federal prosecutors to evaluate the need for a new special counsel.
The AG wants to investigate alleged unlawful dealings by Hillary Clinton and her foundation. Republicans have raised concerns over the Clinton Foundation as well as controversial decisions Clinton made while Secretary of State.
And President Trump is currently airborne en route to the United States. The president concluded his Asian tour in Manila on Sunday and is heading home today. President Trump visited 5 countries in 12 days, but abruptly skipped a meeting of the East Asian Summit.
However, business was not stopped for Trump, who promised a major announcement upon his landing in Washington in a tweet this morning.
Speaker of the House Paul Ryan is calling for Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore to step aside. Moore is facing multiple accusations of sexually assaulting women when they were teenagers.
He denies the claims, stating that they are, quote, absolutely false. 24 Republican senators are considering voting to expel Moore from office if elected. Take a listen to Ryan's stance on the issue.
He should step aside. Number one, these allegations are credible. Number two, he should, if he cares about the values and the people he claims to care about, then he should step aside.
And big news out of the Trump family, a bombshell report from The Atlantic showed secret communications between Donald Trump Jr. and WikiLeaks.
The site constantly asked Trump Jr. to help them push stories and even told the Trump campaign to contest the election. WikiLeaks was already under scrutiny for interfering. This seems to be proof that they were working to help Trump win the presidency.
Moving to Africa, tensions are high in Zimbabwe as tanks drove through the capital to support their military's leader. Experts say this could be the start of a coup. The country has been in crisis since their vice president was ousted last week to allow the president's wife to become his successor.
Zimbabwe's military leader has warned about taking action, saying that the military would step in if they felt their country was threatened. We'll keep you updated as the story develops.
New updates on the devastating Iran-Iraqi earthquake say the death toll is at 530 people. The 7.3 magnitude earthquake struck Sunday night.
The western areas in Iran and the eastern areas of Iraq were among the areas hit the hardest. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani promised to give aid to earthquake victims.
Aid workers are describing refugee camps on the border of Bangladesh and Myanmar as massive slums in the jungle. The camps hold thousands of Rohingya refugees that have fled Myanmar's military.
Myanmar cleared itself of any wrongdoing in an internal report. However, Amnesty International criticized the report, claiming there's overwhelming evidence that atrocities were committed.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
And hopefully tonight you will be leaving the Dome after a Syracuse win with a warm feeling inside, but don't expect that to continue whatsoever. 34 degrees is going to be tomorrow morning, around the same when you're leaving the Dome tonight. It's going to jump to 41 at around 11 a.m. It's not going to be the coldest day that we're going to see in a while, but it's still going to be chilly. And throughout the day tomorrow, it's going to get up to around 43 at noon. Later in the afternoon, it's going to get around 45 and then back into 43. Those temperatures are going to hold steady. It's going to peak up to around 47 degrees later in the day, but get ready for rain tomorrow night. We have a graphic. Oh, we'll go back to it. The graphic of it moving in. This rain is going to be moving in tomorrow, and then right around 10 p.m. tomorrow night is when the rain will begin to hit us. And see this snow all the way up here in Canada? Well, that lake effect is going to take place soon, because on Sunday we're going to be seeing some snow showers. But the rest of the week is pretty nice. That Saturday basketball game is going to be around 44 degrees. Obviously the football game is away, so we don't have to worry about that. But low 40s, high 30s is going to be temperatures moving on.
Yeah, and you know, we're starting to plan our Thanksgiving plans, travels, and all that, trying to get back home. So what's the weather looking like ahead of next week?
Sure. So if you're leaving on Friday, you might encounter some rain if you're driving out or you're flying out. Saturday looks to be pretty clear, and then the week of Thanksgiving, we might have some snow showers. So that's a little early. I know. Usually you hear a white Christmas. This might be a white Thanksgiving for you guys.
Oh no, I'm not ready for that one.
All right. Thanks for the bad news, Josh.
Of course.
Coming up on Citrus TV News, how are stores preparing for Black Friday?
And hundreds rallied in Philadelphia to protest Meek Mill's prison sentence. That and more right after this.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
Black Friday is right around the corner and stores are already preparing. Retail experts are predicting that consumers will spend an average of $1,000 this year. That is a jump from last year's sales when consumers spent closer to $900. Experts say the increase is due to higher employment rates and rising incomes in the U.S. A Colorado family is suing the nation's top lawyer to legalize medical marijuana nationwide. The family moved from Texas to Colorado 3 years ago so their daughter could use medical marijuana to help manage her epilepsy. Now the 12-year-old is suing so people like her who need medical marijuana have the right to travel freely across state lines.
Conservatives are smashing their coffee makers after a fight between Keurig and Fox anchor Sean Hannity. The home coffee maker pulled their advertising from Hannity's show after he defended Roy Moore's actions. Hannity's fans responded by posting videos of them destroying their Keurigs to Twitter. Keurig CEO has apologized for, quote, taking sides, but has not said if they will continue to advertise on the show. Changes to a guideline means that you might have high blood pressure even if you were previously noted as healthy. The American Heart Association and other research groups updated blood pressure guidelines last night. The previous standard was 140/90, referring to the force at which blood is pumped around the body. Now the cutoff is 130/80. This means doctors will monitor more people for having high blood pressure. Free Meek Mill, that's what demonstrators chanted at a rally outside the Criminal Justice Center in Philadelphia last night. The crowd was calling for a judge to recuse herself after she delivered a 2 to 4 year prison sentence for the rapper last week. Mill allegedly violated probation and had an altercation at an airport. He was also reported driving recklessly. Protesters said that the punishment was, quote, excessive and cruel.
Well, if you want to talk about excessive and cruel, the Syracuse defense terrorized Cornell in the season opener last week. The Orange back in action tonight, plus SU football has its back against the wall. Stick around.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Welcome back. I'm Drew Carter. Coming into the season, the only thing we really knew about the Syracuse men's basketball team was that we really didn't know a whole lot. Offense was and still is a definite question mark. The Orange lost 6 of its top 7 scorers from last year. But on the other end, the SU zone could be tenacious. It certainly was in the season opener against Cornell, a 77-45 win. Head coach Jim Boeheim, he doesn't hand out compliments very often, but he sounded pleased with freshman big man Bourama Sidibe.
I think we're just more athletic, longer, and more willing to commit to playing defense, and we have the shot blocker. You know, the first play, if we'd have pressed last year, that first play, Cornell would have had a dunk, and we would have been out of it. He makes an unbelievable block on a pretty good athlete, and, you know, so we didn't have that last year.
Now, Sidibe has played 3 games with the Orange, 2 exhibitions, and that season opener. He's averaging more than 4 blocks a night. Up next, though, a bit more of a challenge for Syracuse. They tip off against Iona in about half an hour. The Gales may not be a blue blood, but they made the tournament in each of the last 2 years. Iona did lose its first game at Albany. In college football, it's funny how fast things change. A month ago, Syracuse was riding high, fresh off an upset win over number 2 Clemson. Now the Orange has lost 3 in a row and needs to win each of its last 2 to lock up a bowl bid. It's a cliche to take things one game at a time, but SU head coach Dino Babers really buys it.
You know, so much of sports is treating each week as an individual week. The Clemson week was a high week, and the weeks after that have not been so high. I think even when everyone's talking about which bowl game we were going to go to, when I tried to say you need to take them one at a time, now here we are in November, and we better take them one at a time. So I think the momentum is created every single week, and we need to create our own momentum for Louisville.
Now, Babers' team better stay focused on Louisville. The Cardinals are only 6-4 this year, but Lamar Jackson has been as dynamic as ever. The quarterback is averaging nearly 418 total yards of offense, the best mark in the nation by a mile, and also more than he averaged last year when he won the Heisman Trophy. Some beef in the NBA. The Knicks and the Cavaliers don't seem to like each other very much. Let's get you caught up. Last week, LeBron James criticized the Knicks for passing on Dennis Smith Jr. in the draft. They took Frank Ntilikina instead. Shocker here, the Knicks didn't like that comment. Cleveland went to Madison Square Garden last night. The game got chippy, and New York was up by as many as 15 points. But the Cavs came all the way back and won by 3. Now this morning, LeBron went on Instagram and posted a picture of himself at midcourt standing over the Knicks logo with the caption, King of New York. Stay tuned to that feud. Across the Big Apple, the Nets better bring their slingshots to Barclays Center tonight. They're David, and the Celtics are Goliath. Boston rides a 12-game win streak into Brooklyn, but could be missing Kyrie Irving. He took an elbow to the face from his own teammate Aaron Baines a few days ago and is questionable for tonight. Irving missed Sunday's game against Toronto. The Celtics still won, though, but only by a single point. The President of the United States, probably a pretty busy guy, but Donald Trump found some time in his schedule to help out the 3 UCLA basketball players who got detained in China 1 week ago today. Trump says he worked with Chinese President Xi Jinping to get those players released.
It's a very, very rough situation with what happened to them, and I was with him. Yes, he is, and he's been terrific. President Xi has been terrific on that subject, but that was not a good subject. That was not something that should have happened.
And the UCLA basketball team had been in China for a game against Georgia Tech and allegedly shoplifted at a Louis Vuitton. One of those players is LiAngelo Ball, son of LeVar and brother of Lonzo and LaMelo. And guys, I have a conspiracy theory about this. So LiAngelo Ball is well known as the worst one of the Ball brothers. Lonzo Ball, though, in the NBA has been pretty bad for the Lakers. My theory is that LeVar Ball paid somebody to get LiAngelo arrested in China to divert attention from Lonzo's poor performance.
See, I agree with you halfway there. Definitely somebody was paid to get LiAngelo arrested, but probably because he was going to be the only Ball brother that didn't make the league.
That's okay, but you can't just keep him over there. Like he might still come back and make the league now. What I'm saying is it's all about the attention. Get it away from Lonzo until LiAngelo, who's bad, by the way. He's not good. He won't make the league.
Got some good theories over here. But yeah.
What do you think about SU basketball's chances against Iona?
So I think SU basketball is in a tough spot, to be honest with you. Iona's a really good team, very experienced. They bring back a lot of guys. They made the tournament each of the past 2 seasons, something Syracuse cannot say the same thing about. I think Iona might have a pretty good chance in the Dome tonight.
All right, thank you, Drew. Citrus TV News, we'll be right back.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Some breaking news for you. A case of tuberculosis was identified in the Syracuse City School District.
The affected person is affiliated with Fowler High School, but it is unknown whether the person is a student or staff member.
And on that note, that's all for Citrus TV News. Live at 6, I'm Connor Federico.
And I'm Elissa Candiotti. Have a great evening, Syracuse.